Rafi, Safi, and Tipu had been planning a weekend trip for weeks. They wanted to escape the hustle and bustle of the city and spend some time in nature. They found a secluded lighthouse by the coast that seemed like the perfect getaway spot. Parbin, Aisha, and Rupa were excited to join them on the trip. As they reached the lighthouse, they were fascinated by its old and rustic architecture. However, they soon realized that something was off about the place. The lighthouse seemed to be frozen in time, with no signs of human activity around it. The group decided to explore the lighthouse and see if they could find any clues about its past. As they made their way up the spiral staircase, they noticed strange noises and felt a chilling breeze. They reached the top of the lighthouse and found an old diary that belonged to the lighthouse keeper from the 1800s. The diary had a disturbing entry that talked about a tragedy that struck the lighthouse, leading to the death of the keeper's family. The group was spooked by the entry and decided to leave the lighthouse immediately. However, as they made their way down the stairs, they felt a presence following them. They turned around and saw a ghostly figure that resembled the lighthouse keeper. The ghostly presence started to approach them, and the group realized that they had unknowingly awakened the spirits of the lighthouse's tragic past. Rafi, Safi, Tipu, Parbin, Aisha, and Rupa ran for their lives, but the ghostly presence continued to haunt them. They realized that the only way to stop the ghost was to find out what happened in the past and put the spirits to rest. The group went back to the top of the lighthouse and found a hidden room that held the key to the tragedy. They discovered that the keeper's family died because of a terrible storm that caused the lighthouse's light to go out, leading to a shipwreck. The group understood the tragedy of the past and found a way to restore the lighthouse's light. As they lit the beacon, the ghostly presence disappeared, and the lighthouse came back to life. Rafi, Safi, Tipu, Parbin, Aisha, and Rupa left the lighthouse with a newfound appreciation for the power of the past and the importance of honoring history. Once the family moved into the new house, they began to unpack their belongings and settle in. While exploring the basement, Rafi's daughter Parbin found an old doll lying in a dusty corner. The doll was made of porcelain and had a frilly dress with lace around its collar. Parbin begged to keep the doll, so Aisha cleaned it up and put it on a shelf in her daughter's room. However, the family soon began to notice strange occurrences around the house. Doors would open and close on their own, and they would hear footsteps coming from empty rooms. One night, Rafi woke up to find the doll sitting at the foot of his bed. Its eyes seemed to follow him as he got up and picked it up. Suddenly, he felt a cold breeze pass through the room, and he saw the doll's eyes glow red. The family soon realized that the doll was haunted by a malevolent spirit. They tried to get rid of it, but it always seemed to find its way back to their house. The family began to feel the ghostly presence around them all the time, and they knew they had to find a way to get rid of the doll for good. After doing some research, Rafi discovered that the doll had been owned by a little girl who died tragically in the house many years ago. The spirit of the little girl had attached itself to the doll, and it was now wreaking havoc on the family. Rafi and Aisha performed a ritual to banish the spirit from the doll, and they buried it in the backyard. The family never experienced any strange occurrences again, and they knew that the haunted doll was finally gone for good. As the family settled into their new home at Hillside Manor, they couldn't wait to start their new life together. The house was massive and sprawling, with a rich history that intrigued them all. But soon, they began to notice strange things happening. Doors would open and close on their own, strange sounds would echo throughout the halls, and items would go missing only to reappear in odd places. At first, the family tried to brush off these occurrences as their imagination, but as the incidents continued to escalate, they knew something was not right. Aisha, the youngest of the family, would complain of seeing a ghostly figure in her room at night, and the family dog would bark at seemingly nothing. Sammy, the skeptic of the family, tried to explain away the occurrences as coincidence or natural phenomena, but even he could not deny the strange events that kept happening. With no other explanation, the family began to research the history of the manor, and what they found was chilling. It turned out that the manor was built on an ancient burial ground, and there had been reports of paranormal activity in the area for centuries. As they dug deeper, they discovered that a family had once lived in the manor and had tragically died in a fire that had ravaged the house. It was believed that the spirit of one of the family members still haunted the property. Determined to put the spirit to rest, the family sought the help of a paranormal investigator who guided them through a series of rituals. Together, they were able to communicate with the ghostly presence and uncover the truth behind the tragic events that had occurred so many years ago. With the mystery solved and the spirit at peace, the family was finally able to move on and start their new life in Hillside Manor. However, they could not forget the haunting experience they had endured, and they knew that they would always carry the memory with them.